Hey everyone, this is my eyebrow tutorial. I've had a few people ask me about how I get my brows, the way I shape them, so on and so forth. So I figured I'd make a tutorial and kind of show you what I do. My technique is a little bit different, and some people may like it, some people may not, but in my opinion it works really well. Also, I can't tell how well this is going to be filmed, so I apologize if it's a little tricky to see. If you have any other questions about anything that I do, just let me know and I will explain it to you. So what I did is I put on my base foundation makeup already. Normally I don't do that. Normally I do my eyebrows right after I do my general foundation. They're one of the first things that I do just to get them knocked out, and then I can kind of base everything else with my makeup off of the symmetry that's already framed around my eyes. So what you can see here is, see how I've kind of got light eyebrows? They're shaved down. Naturally my eyebrows grow in kind of light. I have lighter hair naturally, and then also just as I've gotten older they don't grow in as full, which I'm okay with because I pencil them in anyway. So as far as getting your eyebrows in the right shape, you should maintain them in a good shape. You should shape your eyebrows before you try this if you decide you want to use this technique. If they aren't in the shape that you want them, it's going to be really tricky. It's going to be weird and kind of awkward. I also suggest that for the sake of learning this technique, you practice the actual powdering portion that I'll show you before you shave them down, because after that it gets a little weird. What I do is maintain my brows like this. I keep them relatively short. In fact, the second half of my brows I shave right off. The front part I keep almost down to like a light stubble, and that works as like a template for me to fill in. So as far as tools that you need, you'll need one of these. It's a trimmer. People use them for whatever, nose hair, I don't care. Weird stuff. But what you can do is use one of these to trim down the back part of your eyebrow, which is actually what I'm going to do right now, kind of show you how it works. So I literally shave off up to the arch, or the highest point of my eyebrow, so you almost don't even see it. You can leave it just faintly there because you cover it up with makeup anyway. Don't pluck it, because if you pluck it too much it obviously won't grow back. Alright, so once you do that, you'll need a pair of scissors, and then you're going to trim the front part down. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Like I said, you want it to be kind of like a light shadow of an eyebrow. You don't want a whole lot going on. Okay. So once you've done that, now comes kind of the fun part with the makeup. I use one of these. It's a white kohl pencil liner. Pretty standard makeup stuff. And then what I do is I line out the shape of my eyebrow. So what you're going to do is you're going to line right underneath the top part here, and then you're actually going to cover over with the white the second half of your eyebrow and go over whatever, light eyebrow that you left, or just line it all together. Okay, so and what I'm doing is kind of forming the shape that I want my brow to go in. I like my brows a little high, so I'm actually making it higher than my natural brow, and then you go through with your finger and you kind of blend it out. Kind of like that. I don't know how well you can see it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is take an eyeliner pencil. This is Revlon Color Stay. It's really nice. It works really well because obviously when you paint on your brows or pencil them in, you sweat more and it has a tendency to want to run after a few hours. This actually keeps pretty nicely from what I've found. So what I'm going to do now is create like a baseline and actually stencil out in, dark liner my eyebrow shape. So I'll kind of show you that. And what you're going to do is start at the base right here and do the first half up. And I'm gonna, basically the high point is where my peak is gonna be at for my eyebrow. So I'll do that. And then I'll line out the second half. I bring mine down pretty far. I think that kind of balances out my face pretty nicely. For me, everybody has like a different eyebrow shape that they prefer. I don't really have any great advice as far as like what the best eyebrow shape is, just because, I mean, everybody's face is different. I just eyeball it and go with what visually I think looks best. I don't think there's really an equation for me that I use to get it right. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I'm gonna do is take my powder and fill in my brows. You can use eyeshadow, you can use an actual eyebrow powder. Just make sure that it's matte, because if you get something with shimmer in it, obviously it's not going to look as natural. I suggest powdering your brow as opposed to just lining out the whole thing with a liner, because then it looks kind of like you've got crayon eyebrows. Powder makes it look natural, it keeps it lighter. Always pick a shade darker than your natural hair color or matching exactly. Don't go lighter than your natural color, because then it just doesn't look right. If you have black hair like I do, and I dye mine black, then go with a black or charcoal powder, preferably. Don't go too dark. Like I said, same thing, you don't want to look like you have crayon brows. Okay, you can also use a dark brown for that, but I like using the charcoal color myself. So now you'll need an angled brush like this, and you're just going to fill it in, and I'll kind of show you how I do that right now. So what I do is I work at the dark line that I put on with the liner, and then I blend up. That's going to pull it up into the brow and kind of spread the makeup around, so that way it doesn't look like you have a thick chalk line. Okay. You're just going to kind of pull it through. And you can keep going and using the powder as you see fit. Obviously you're going to run out a couple of times as you're going through, which is fine. Just when you go back, don't start at the top and then go. Start back at the bottom, which is the darkest point of your brow, and then work the shadow back up towards the top. So you're actually creating kind of a fade with the shadow. Kind of like that. Hopefully you can see it all right. And as you're going, you're just going to shape it. Keep filling it until you get it to the thickness that you really want. Kind of like that. Now usually what I do, obviously I'm just doing one brow for you right now. I will do them same equal steps, both at the same time. I don't do one brow then do the other, because the problem that you will have is you'll notice as you get one brow done and then you go back to do this one, you're never going to have them matching as close as they possibly could. You want them to stay relatively even. For obvious reasons, you don't want to look like you have weird, awkward brows. So just kind of when you line out one, go by, line the other one, have makeup remover ready just in case the liner is off. You can go with a Q-tip and kind of like knock some of it off or whatever. So the last step that I usually do for my brows is I have like a base white powder. I take a little brush like this, just dab it in, and I'm gonna go right under the peak of my eyebrow on the actual brow bone, or the like the fatty part here of my eyelid, and I'm gonna powder down and fade it out, and that just makes the eyebrow look really crisp and like really pop. And also, if you got a little sloppy, this is great because this will help kind of fade out any of the mistakes or any kind of like sloppy line work. Kinda just like that. Okay, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's not too complicated to do, however, it still takes a little bit of trial and error. Like I said, just try powdering or filling in your brows first, getting the shape that you really want, then shape them down and build them up. Because if you try this for the first time and you just shave them off or cut them down and then you're not getting it right, then obviously you can't lean on your natural brows to kind of make you look more normal. So just kind of practice. It does take a lot of practice to get used to. However, I really enjoy it and I think it's a really good process to use, and I think they look perfect. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll try and kind of like guide you through it as much as possible. So, all right, thank you. Bye.